Hello everyone. Since the big run is happening this weekend, I thought I would do a video ranking all of the main weapons in Salmon Run. So let's just get started right into it. 52 gal isn't too good, I think, because Salmon Run has a really high focus on high damage, high fire rate weapons. 52 gal, while it does have decent damage, I don't think it can output as much paint, fire rate, etc. So, but it's not awful, so I think I'm gonna put it in D tier. 96 gal has terrible paint, has okay damage, but terrible fire rate, terrible paint, like I said earlier. I don't think it's good. It is going right into F tier. It doesn't really fill any roles, just because of there are other better long-range weapons like Jet and, I don't know, L3 or H3 as an example. So yeah, its role is just outclassed. The arrow spray is good. It's the only, or it's one of the few weapons that can't one-shot small fry, but it has the highest paint output in the game. It has amazing paint, like I just said, amazing fire rate. While it can't output as much damage and it can't one-shot, I still think it's good. I don't think it's great particularly, but it is still a decent option to get, so I'm putting it in B. Ballpoint. Ballpoint is hard to use, but if you can use it, it is probably one of the best weapons in the game. I suck with ballpoint, so I'm not good with it, but in the right hands, it can be amazing. That's why it's going into S tier. Bamboo, I don't think is too good either. Same points for 52 and 96. It can't paint well. It has okay damage, but if you want a sniper, or a better sniper, I would go with Squiffer. Of course, you can't choose in Salmon Run, but you know what I mean. I think it will go into D, though. Blaster, the normal blaster isn't too great. It's okay, it has good area of effect or area damage, but again, like 52 and 96, it can't paint that well, but it does have good damage, so I think I'm going to put it in C. Blobber is a very unique weapon in Salmon Run, because it, while it doesn't have amazing paint, and it doesn't have that much width to its shots, I guess, it only goes a straight line pretty much unless you flick, but that's a whole other scenario. I don't think it's too good. It has amazing single target damage, so on things like a Kohozuna or a Scrapper even, it can be really good. But on waves of enemies, like even lesser salmonids, it just can't thrive as well. But I do think it's good for single target damage, which is why I'm going to put it in B. Carbon isn't too good. It's definitely one of the weaker rollers in Salmon Run. Just, again, I don't think it can one-shot Chum, but I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me. It's obviously one of the faster rollers, but and great paint, or good paint for rollers anyways, but I don't think it's too good because it doesn't do too much damage. I'll put it in C. If it can't one-shot Chum, though, I'll put it'll be B, but I don't remember. Clash Blaster is good. It's high fire rate. It doesn't have... It's the shortest range of all the blasters, but because of its high fire rate and okay paint, best paint for blasters aside from Grizzgrow Blaster, I do think it is still good. I will put it into B tier. Squiffer, in my opinion, is one of the best chargers in the game. It's fast, it can charge in the air, which is good in Salmon Run. I like to jump around a lot anyways. Yeah, it's overall just a good sniper. I am going to put it into A tier. I think Sorry, Clash is probably better than Blob, but not as good as Aerospray. Dapple Doolies is good. It's quick, fast fire rate. It has terrible range, though. I don't think it could even reach the mothership when it's coming down. For its terrible range, I was going to put it into B tier, but I think it's going to have to go into C just based off of its range. I would say it's better than the Carbon, though. Tetras, again, don't have high fire rate, don't paint well, okay damage, but the main thing it has going for it is its movement options. It can move like a beast. I think that sets it apart from the other slow fire rate, bad paint weapons. I will be putting it into B tier, above Blob but under Clash. Jet Squelcher is just a better Tetradulies, so I'm going to put that into A tier. I think the Squiffer is better than the Jet Squelchers, but again, Jet can move. Jet has better damage, I think. Doesn't have as many rolls, but it has, I think, the farthest roll in the game. I'm not sure. Dynamo is S tier because it can one-shot Kohozuna's Cohawks, which it makes it amazing. It makes it amazing in Glowflies. Pretty much you always want a Dynamo if you can get it. E-Leader, I think, can be good. I suck with it because you have to charge, and it's very slow. Great single target damage, but not that great overall. I'm going to put it at the bottom of C. Explosher, S tier. I don't think I need to explain this one. Can deal with Flyfish very easily. Thus, it is amazing. I would put it at the bottom of S tier, but because of that, it can't deal with lesser Salmonids as well, or much of the bosses too great. But because it can one-shot Flyfish, that is an immediate S tier, or pretty much one-shot Flyfish. Flingza, it's kind of like Dynamo with its vertical flick, obviously, but I don't think it's too good. I would probably put it... I think it is a bit worse than Blob at the end of B tier. Just... It's a gimmick mostly in Turf War and the other modes where you can paint for your special very easily, but of course you can't paint for your special in Salmon Run. And paint isn't that big of a deal in Salmon Run. I mean, it still matters, but it's not as big of a deal as in the normal mode, so I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B. Glugas, like the Gals and Bamboo, aren't that good. They don't have amazing fire rate. They don't have great paint. I will put it at the top of D, though, because it has the movement option, and it gets the buff when it does roll. GooTuber is a worse Squiffer, I think. It can't charge in the air, so that's a negative, but you can store your charge, which I think can be good. I don't necessarily use the charge hold that much when playing Salmon Run, but I think in the right hands it can be good. I will put it at the top of B tier. Grizzco, Brella, and Grizzco Blaster are immediate S tier because they are broken and don't have any... well, all the Grizzco weapons, pretty much, except for the new ones added in 3, are very good. The Grizzco Slosher is the only kind of balanced one. It hasn't been used in 3 yet, but in 2 it was you only had 4 shots at full ink tank. It did 25% of your ink tank, which makes it kind of balanced. It is not a great painter, but it can pierce, which makes it amazing, in my opinion. That goes above Grizzco Blaster Umbrella. I think the Charger is the weakest of them all, just because has amazing single target damage, and amazing range, but for waves of enemies, it's not the best at taking those out, but I still think it is amazing. Grizzco Splatana, or Grizzco Bow, so my bad, I don't think is too great. Again, amazing single target damage, but it doesn't have the range. It can't deal with hordes of enemies as easily. In my opinion, it is just a worse charger because, again, doesn't have the range. It while it does have higher damage if you land all the shots, it's just too situational. It's really only good against Kohozuna, which is why it's an A tier. H3, or L3, sorry, my bad, I think is pretty good. Uh, it has good damage, somewhat good paint. Overall, it's just a solid weapon. I will put it top of C, but not B tier. Next up, we have the Heavy Splatling. Heavy Splatling can be good. Again, I suck with any weapon that has to be charged, but in the right hands, I think it can be good. I think it will go in the bottom of A tier. In my opinion, the Hydra is just a bit worse than the Heavy, because you have to charge it for longer. While it does have better range, I think better damage, but I don't know. I don't think it is as good as Heavy. Brush will go at the top of A because of how fast it is and how easy it is to revive opponents with it. You do have to get up next to them, but because you can escape so quickly afterwards by just rolling, great ink efficiency for that. That's why it's going in A tier. It's great at reviving teammates. Jet Squelcher, like I said, is a better 96. Do I think it's better than Gluga's? Yes. Do I think it's as good as E-Liter? Yes. Do I think it's better than Carbon? No. Carbon just serves a better role. Longer range weapons, I find, aren't as good or as useful, aside from Explosher or Ballpoint, but I do think it can be very helpful, and again, saving teammates, like with the Brush. H3, in my opinion, is just a tiny bit better than L3. Not as much range, not as much damage, but I find that doesn't really matter in Salmon Run, so that is why it is going above L3. Luna, I think, is just a bit better than regular Blaster. It has a faster fire rate, which helps a lot. Doesn't have as much range, but again, when you're going with Blasters, you're going to be right up in their face anyways. So I don't think that matters as much, which is why it's going above Blaster. Mini, I think, can be good. I don't think it can be as good as Heavy, but it does serve a good role. It paints well, does okay damage. Overall, I think not as good as Clash Blaster, though. Nautilus has the same ability as Ballpoint, where you can charge mid as you're firing, which I think is great. Charge Hold is a much weaker gimmick, though, in my opinion, compared to Ballpoint. I think the gimmick does put it a bit above Heavy, though. N-Zap, great paint, fine damage. It's just a good weapon. It's better than Arrow Spray, because I think it can one-shot Salmonids, or the Small Fry, my bad. It'll go above GoTuber. Octobrush, I think, is just a bit worse than Inkbrush. Just a bit slower, a bit more damage, but I just don't think it's as good as Inkbrush. Serves the same purpose, though, which is why it's going in A. Range Blaster, I think, is awful. It has terrible ink efficiency, it has fine range, but if you're going to have to choose between either Blaster, I I think the regular blaster is better than the range blaster. Again, terrible range, or not terrible range, great range, but terrible fire rate, terrible ink efficiency, which is why it's going in F. The two rapid blasters, I think, are pretty good. Um, they will pretty much just be the exact same usefulness anyways between the two, so I think they are better than Luna though, which is why they're going above it. The split, the reflex is awful in Salmon Run. It can paint well, but again, that is not as big of a deal as in Turf War or ranked modes, because you can't paint for special in Salmon Run. It can't do anything. It is just awful, and same with Tri-Stringer. Tri-Stringer is probably a bit better because it does more damage, but they are both awful in Salmon Run. Slosher, I think, is pretty good. I think the bottom of A tier is probably good. Again, good damage, pretty sure one-shots, chum, good fire rate, good overall. It's a good overall weapon, like the splatter shot, which we'll get into later. I think Machine is a bit weaker, but is still pretty good. I would put it above Mini, in my opinion. It can just get more done. Splash is a better H3 and L3, but it also has perfect jump accuracy, which puts it up a lot. I think it is the top, probably actually a bit better than Slosher. Perfect jump accuracy is amazing because you, like I said before, are going to be jumping around a lot. These Splatanas are great. They are great overall weapons. I think the Wiper is a bit better, just because it's faster, it has better paint, but they are great weapons overall. They can take pretty much anything. Overall, just amazing weapons. Brella, I think, is also very good because of the shield. I think it is the best of the Brella class. It one-shots one-shots Small Fry, which is amazing. Just the Brella. I'm not even talking about the shots yet. Shots are okay, but okay paint, but the shield is really what you're going to be using this thing for. Amazing for blocking shots, amazing to keep you alive, whatnot. I think the Charger is a solid weapon. Not as good as Swiffer, but still pretty good. Kind of the middle of the road again, like Mini, like the basic weapons, but still a good weapon, in my opinion. The dualies are just better Tetra dualies. They have better paint, better fire rate, better damage for that. Like, just overall, you're going to want to use it more, or want to have it more than Tetra dualies. Again, very good basic weapon, in my opinion. Roller is probably better than Flingza, just has better fire rate or swing rate, I guess. In most cases, you aren't going to want the extra width that the Flingza gives you. I would say it is a bit better than some of the other weapons in B tier, so some of the other basic weapons, I mean, which is why it'll go above Clash. Junior is a worse arrow spray. It does more damage, but it can't one-shot or Small Fry, I don't think. So it will go into right in between the Nozzle Noses and the Rapid Blasters. The Splatter Shot is a good weapon. It's just good damage, good paint, good everything. It's solid. A tier. Range, or Pro, I mean, sorry, my bad. is just, again, a worse splatter shot. A lot of just worse versions, in my opinion. I think it'll go into B. It serves a... Or no, it's below Jet, actually. Because it doesn't have that range. It has around the same amount of damage, same amount of fire rate. I think Jet is just a bit better overall. Sploosh is good. It's a worse splatter, or it's a worse aerospray, and it's a worse junior. So bottom of C. It's just outclassed again by the two other fast fire rate weapons. Foil Squeezer is good because it has high damage output and it has high paint. It is a good weapon, it is solid, it'll go into the top of A just because it can serve multiple uses. Tentabrella is good, but I don't think it's as good as Brella. Like I said earlier, I think it is still good because of its shield. That can be very helpful, but it's pretty niche in that sense, so it'll go into the bottom of B. Tri-Slosher, in my opinion, is the best Slosher because it has a fast fire rate. It has a fast... It doesn't have as much damage, but it can still one-shot Chum, or Small Fry. I think it can still one-shot Chum, though, but I'm not 100% sure. It will go into A tier. Actually, let's move this up here. I think that would be better. Undercover is the worst Brella. It has fine paint, but awful damage. It'll go into the bottom of D. Grizzco Splatana is the best weapon in the game, probably, because of its massive damage. It is still hard to use, which makes it good. It makes it balanced, unlike these three Grizzco weapons. It is very good, very powerful, but balanced. I like that. Top of S tier, best weapon in the game. Now, I actually haven't gotten a chance to use the Sniper Rider and the Big Swig, but based off of their gimmicks and their stats from the normal game, I can say that Sniper Rider is probably just a worse Squiffer, not worse by much. It's multiple different fire rates for one charge, or fire shots, whatever you want to call them, is amazing. 5 different things for one full charge is great. Big Swig Roller, probably the weakest roller. It can't really it can't do much damage. I think it can roll over Small Fry, but that's it. I'm not sure it can even one-shot Chum for its roll. Its swing does, I think, the same amount as its roll. Just not great. Bottom of C, top of D. Probably bottom of C. And Nova is not that good, I don't think. It's the worst fast fire rate. It can paint fine. It doesn't have high damage. Overall, it's not that good comparatively to other weapons that you could choose from. But yeah, there's my list of Grizzco, Salmon Run weapons that you can get in the game. Like I said, S tier is amazing. A tier is still great. B tier is still good. Anything B and above you would want. C is still fine. It can get the job done. D isn't too good. And F is awful. You generally don't want D or F. D can have some situational uses, but 96 range and the 2 bows are just awful, in my opinion. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you like and subscribe, and see you again next time. Bye.